What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to BST. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another episode. The Detroit Lions pick up a massive, massive win over the Baltimore Ravens to improve to 2-1. 38-30 is the final score. Let's get into this thing. The Lions, man. This is what we were used to seeing from the Lions. Last week we saw it. They beat the Bears by a shit ton, 50 to whatever it was. But it's the Bears, you know. We expect the Lions to win that game. I think this was kind of the true test. We saw them play the Packers. They struggled. I at least believe the Packers are a contender. I know a lot of people have their doubts after this past week, but I think the Packers are good. They're a contender. So this was kind of a prove-it game for Detroit to see if they could hang, and they went out there and they played Detroit Lions football. Jared Goff, 200 yards, a touchdown. Wasn't spectacular, but he needed what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do. He hit that big throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown, that dime on the fourth down play call. Overall, I just thought he facilitated the game well. Played Jared Goff football. And the Ravens couldn't get any pressure on him. That was the name of the game to me. They really just, their D-line couldn't stop the run, and they couldn't get any pressure. 0 sacks. So that's literally what it is. If you cannot sack Jared Goff, the game is over, because he's just too good at sitting back there and, just picking apart the defense. If you cannot pressure him, he will pick you apart. Running the ball, Montgomery, 151 yards, that big 70-yard dash that surely had Jahmyr Gibbs' fantasy owners in shambles. Even though Gibbs did score 2 touchdowns on the ground. So did Monty. So big day for Monty. Gibbs didn't run the ball efficiently, had the majority of the carries, but like I said, 2 touchdowns. And receiving, St. Brown, 77 yards, did his thing. Caught the touchdown from Goff. Nothing else spectacular on that side of their offense. But yeah, just the way Detroit wants to play offense, running the ball well, hitting the passes they need to on offense. But let's get to the Ravens. A disappointing day. Lamar played amazing, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, but sacked 7 times. The Lions were just all over him, and a lot of the sacks weren't like super. There were some like deep sacks, some big loss of yardage, but I thought a lot of the sacks were him stepping up in the pocket, and he got to near the line of scrimmage and just ran out of daylight. He really just didn't have that same burst and step that we've seen from Lamar this season, escaping the pocket, and we just didn't see it this game for whatever reason. He still had a great game. It's just a tough one. And, Henry, it's just sometimes with the Ravens, they get into a spot where if they're not winning the game, they get really pass heavy, pass happy, and they don't run the ball with Derrick Henry. And, 12 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. I feel like Henry's got to carry the ball more, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like Henry's kind of the key to this Baltimore offense, and when he's not carrying the ball, it doesn't work as well. And of course, he had the huge fumble that cost them a possession and gave the Lions short field, and I believe they kicked a field goal on that one to go by a touchdown. So that was a huge play. Now you've seen in 2 games this season against the Bills and against the Lions, Henry has a key fumble in the 4th quarter. Definitely something to look at. Mark Andrews finally had a good game. I thought the Ravens moved the ball well, and it's felt like they should have won both these games against the Bills and the Lions, but just some 4th quarter collapses. They got outscored 17-9 in this one. Saying similar story in the Bills game. So they're gonna have to find a way to escape these collapses. And if we look at their schedule here, moving forward, so next week they have the Chiefs. It's in Arrowhead. They've had their struggles with the Chiefs in the past, but I still think they're the better team than the Chiefs and should pick up that win. Then you're home against the Texans, should be a win. So now you're 3-2 there. Rams, it's a tough one against the Rams. I'd say it's a toss-up, but we'll say it's a loss. So you're 3-3. Bears, you should win. Dolphins, you should win. Vikings, you should win. Browns, you should win. Jets, you should win. Bengals, you should win. Steelers, you should win. Bengals, you should win. Patriots, you should win. And then you get to the Packers, which, based on how the Packers play, who the hell knows? But I think that should be a good game, and definitely a game the Ravens could win. So once you get kind of out of this stretch here in the next couple of weeks, you have a pretty long stretch where we could see the Ravens winning 7, 8, 9 in a row, and they'll be just fine once it comes playoff time. So I'm not super worried about this start, but definitely a little bit concerning, especially defensively. Like I said, they couldn't get any pressure on Goff. They got slashed in the run game. Just not a good start, especially for a group that we thought could be pretty special coming into this. Just based off like what the personnel is. You have Kyle Hamilton on the back end. Jair Alexander did not play in this game, I don't believe, as he's battling more injuries. But you have Humphrey. In the middle, you got Roquan Smith, who's one of the best linebackers in the league. But yeah, that D-line is definitely their weak spot. They got the big guy, Matabike, in the middle. But other than that, on the edges, you got Van Noy, who's pretty old. Just not great. So tough one for the Ravens, but they'll be fine. And for Detroit, this is exactly what you needed. You needed to bounce back against a contender. Show the league that the Lions are still here. It's crazy that it was even a storyline, but after week 1, it was like, man, are the Lions screwed? Are they even going to make the playoffs? And it's like, yeah, they are. They still have a very, very good roster. Hutchinson was flying around making plays. Branch is always flying around making plays. The Lions are a good team, and I think they have an argument to be the best in the NFC North. I know we'll get to my power rankings. I know everybody's going to say the Packers lost the Browns. Lions are obviously better. I still think you got to put the Packers above the Lions just because you beat them. I mean, that should show you who's better or not, no matter, that's just my personal belief. Unless it's a close game and it could have gone either way, then that's a different argument. But that's neither here nor there. The Lions pick up a good win, 38-30. Let's move on to the power rankings. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Got another tier list. Let's see. Bang. All right, we're here. Ignore the ads. Let's see if I can get rid of the ads. All right, got rid of that ad. Okay. The power rankings got increasingly more difficult this go around. With the Packers losing, kind of weird. Where do you put them? Where do you put the Lions? The Chiefs. Yeah, I still don't have the Chiefs in my top 10. I'll just spoil it right now. You're 1-2, and you beat the Giants. You're not going to move up for that. I've seen a lot of power rankings with the Chiefs really high. It's ridiculous to me. Like, what are we doing here? So, I don't believe in that. But let's do number 10. It's a tough one. I think arguments for number 10, Seattle, San Fran. Let's see here. Who's another kind of argument? Like the Steelers, maybe. Yeah, I mean those are kind of the only arguments I'm really willing to hear out. For me, number 10 is Washington. They don't have their superstar in Jaden Daniels this game. Mariota gets a start. It's against the Raiders. They ran the ball really well. Just took care of business. The defense played good. They got the win, and hopefully get Jaden Daniels back in the near future. And I mean, you're 2-1. Your only loss is the Packers, and I think that's a great start for the Commanders and a start they will take. But I'm just not sure they're above this 10 spot with some of the teams ahead of them. But I got the Commanders at number 10. Number 9, I'd love to put this team higher, but I'm not sure yet. They faced the Broncos, and I'm not really sure how good the Broncos are fully. And I'm just not. I don't want to put them too high, buy into the hype too much. But I think at number 9, it's a good spot for the Colts. Like I said, I really like what the Colts are doing, and if they can, I'm not sure who they have next on their schedule, but if they can just get a real signature win that proves they're a true contender, I'll move them up higher. I don't want this to be any disrespect towards the Colts. They're 3-0. They've looked really good. But like, I don't want this to be a Saints situation where we're throwing the Saints in the top 10 and then all of a sudden they collapse. I don't think it will be. I think Daniel Jones is playing really well. We'll see on the MVP ladder coming up that I will be doing. And I just don't want to throw them too high. But like I said, love what they're doing. Colts at 9. At number 8. Oh, this work. It's interesting. Man, I might have to call an audible here. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm going to put the Bucs at number 8. They're 3-0, so that's definitely not a bad start, but I think they've been in a lot of close games and like they don't look particularly impressive. I think what Baker is doing is impressive. I'm not sure their entire team looks insanely impressive. Of course, they still have Wirfs out, so that's a big loss in their line. Once they get him back, they might look a little bit more dominant. But, I mean, week 1, you escape with a win against the Falcons. Week 2, you barely win versus the Texans, who are not very good at football. And then this week, you probably should have lost versus the Jets. I mean, the Jets returned that kick with very little time left in the game. But the Buccaneers were up big in that game, but definitely a little bit of a collapse. So I thought about putting them higher. I'm just not sure I'm comfortable with it at this point. But yeah, I think Buccaneers 8 is a good spot. At number 7, I know I said I still think the Packers are better than the Lions. I mean, if you lose the Browns, you just got to be punished for it, especially in kind of a power rankings kind of thing. I think if the Packers get a bounce back win next week, they move up the list. But at this point, it's just such a disappointing and shocking loss. I think you got to just put them down. I mean, 7 isn't nothing to scoff at, but it's just just a disappointing loss. So I think you still got to put the Packers at number 7, in my opinion. At number 6, we'll put the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, the Ravens, like I said, it's a tough start to the season. 1 and 2 doesn't look great, but I think it's probably the best 1 and 2 you can have. I mean, you played 2 really good teams really tough. Even if the Lions game looks like it wasn't, I thought they played them well. Defensively, not as much, but offensively, they were right in that game. So I think the Ravens will be fine, and I don't think they move down too much. At number 5, I think this is a good spot for the Lions. Like I said, this looked like last year's Lions all over again. And I know they lost Green Bay, but they definitely look scary. And if they can hit on all cylinders, they are a good team. So Lions at 5, I like that. At number 4, I got the Rams. And hear me out on this one. I know some people may not like that. I thought the Rams... Oh, shoot. Hold on. Clicked the wrong thing. I thought the Rams should have won that game against the Eagles. Played good enough to win it, in my opinion. and just weren't able to get it done. Collapsed at the end, got the field goal blocked. I mean, they just had chances to win. Two field goals were blocked. But I thought they really pushed Philly to their limits. And I think they should be rewarded for that. Stafford and that offense is really firing. The defense got pressure on Hurts, which is somewhat unheard of with that O-line. And they stopped Barkley. Even though they lost, I like what the Rams did this past week. They're 2-1 now, and I think they're definitely one of the top contenders in the NFC. At number 3, oh man, I think I have to just put the Chargers here at number 3. 2 of the LA teams in the top 5. Good time to live over there. Not really. Chargers at number 3. You get a big win over Denver. It wasn't pretty at times, but you got it done. You're 3-0 now. I mean, you've got kind of a stranglehold on your division. You beat the Chiefs, you beat the Broncos, and you beat the Raiders. So, an outstanding start for the Chargers, getting 3 division wins so far. And Herbert's playing at an MVP level. We'll see that on the MVP ladder coming up here. They ran the ball a little bit better. They got playmakers with Keenan Allen now. Quentin Johnston's emerged. That O-line is good enough. And that defense is definitely improved. Maybe not improved, but just I think they're playing well. So I like the Chargers there at 3. At number 2, you got the Eagles. They're just inevitable, man. They just find ways to win. They're like last year's Chiefs. They just find ways to win. They stay in games, and then as soon as you make a mistake, they pounce. So I think there's no other spot for the Eagles to go, and as of right now, they're still the top NFC contender in my eyes. And then, of course, at number 1, kind of disrespected them last week, but no other place for them to be now, Bills. With Josh Allen, you're going to win a lot of games. That's not a shock, he's playing at a different level right now. Just kind of controls the game. Defense does concern me a little bit, but we're not seeing a ton of really good defense in this top 10. So I'm not super concerned by it. At the end of the day, Josh Allen is all you have to know about the Bills. So there you have it. 10 Commanders, 9 Colts, 8 Bucks, 7 Packers, 6 Ravens, 5 Lions, 4 Rams, 3 Chargers, 2 Eagles, 1 Bills. I like that list a lot, and we'll see how it plays out over this coming week. Last segment of the show, let's get to the MVP ladder here. 1 through 5 spots. We can get this ad off the screen here. And at number 5, I think we're going to do kind of a dual thing here. We're going to have the Colts superstars is a little bit too much. But Jonathan Taylor's a superstar, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to call Daniel Jones a superstar yet. But we'll have the Colts key players here. One sec, need to get a drink of water. God, your voice gets so dry and your throat gets so dry talking for so long. These two are playing phenomenal football. Daniel Jones looks revitalized. Jonathan Taylor looks better than he did during his good season in 2021 where he ran for like 1,800 yards. I think he's on pace for like 1,900 so far. He's ran the ball really good. Daniel Jones he looks like a completely different player. He looks confident. He's slinging the ball. So I think this is a good spot for this kind of tandem. I think Jonathan Taylor's the only non-quarterback that has an argument at this point. So I like those two there at number 5. At number 4, kind of gets interesting. Oh, I look at these players. I think I'll put Baker here. 6 touchdowns, no picks so far. Has led game-winning drives. Has it been in all 3 games? It might have been in all 3 games. He's led game-winning drives. So he's playing good football. He's a dog. I mean, that scramble he had against the Jets was unbelievable, where he just juked the guy and then scrambled for the first down. He's playing really good football right now. So I like Baker at number 4. Number 3. That's where it gets interesting. I think I'm going to have to put Lamar Jackson number 3 just because of the record at this point. I get it. He has really good statistics. Threw another 3 touchdowns tonight. But you're 1-2. The 2 guys above you, their teams are 3-0. I'm just going to give the nod then. But, I mean, there's still a lot of football left to be played. And if Lamar's playing like this at the end of the year and they're the first or second seed, there's an argument. But I just think the 2 guys ahead of them, their teams are playing better. And they are also playing really good football. So, at number 2, God, these goddamn ads. Justin Herbert. Did throw a pick, but I believe, I'm not exactly sure how many touchdowns he has, but he's playing good football. I know that. He's slinging the ball. That play where he rolled out of the pocket, just threw a dime into the end zone to Keenan Allen on the run. Those are MVP-type plays. This is probably some of the best football we've seen Justin Herbert play in his career. He's playing really, really good. But not good enough for the number 1. It has to be Josh Allen at this point. His team is the best in football, in my opinion. I don't really see that being an argument here. Like I said, he controls the game. He has one-hand flips on the run for touchdowns. He's just playing unlike anybody else in this league. It just looks so easy for him at this point. So Josh at 1. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So there you have it. JT and Indiana Jones at 5, Baker at 4, Lamar at 3, Herbert at 2, and Allen at 1 for your MVP ladder going into week 4 of the NFL season. That will do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Enjoy Thursday night football. Enjoy college football. It's gonna be a good weekend. We got that Penn State Oregon game on Saturday night. I'm looking forward to. We just got some good football coming up. So enjoy that. Enjoy the final stretch of baseball for any of my baseball fans out there. Definitely going to be watching, see who makes it, see who does not. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. It's greatly appreciated. We're at 133. We might be at 134. I probably need to change that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all that. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Have a good night. Stay safe. All those things. And we'll see you in the next one.